realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi, my dear viewers. I am very pleased. I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us the opportunity to discuss a very important topic. It's going to be a series of topics actually, and it's iTeens World. It will basically mainly deal with leadership, development of youth through acquiring knowledge, and basically we'll be facilitating that learning so that you can apply that knowledge and develop true and big leaders. I have here my renowned guest, Dr. Mamdouh Mohammad, with over 30 years of experience in education, and of course you're very familiar with his programs. Dr.
Jazakallahu khairan for this. I'm also very happy to be with us, to be with you here, for all of us discussing one topic here, and I hope inshallah this topic will benefit me myself and will benefit the audience definitely, and we'll share what we have inshallah. My name is Mamdouh Mohammad. I'm currently working as the director of Arrow for consultancy and training. I'm originally from Egypt, but I'm American citizen.
I have two young guests here, and I would like you to introduce yourself.
Assalamualaikum brothers, everybody.
Salam.
My name is Abdul Mateen Yusuf, and I'm 17 years old. And originally I'm from India, but I've been living in Dubai for more than 16 years now.
MashaAllah.
And I'm in year 12.
MashaAllah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
Alaikum assalam.
My name is Ahmad Tamsah. I am in grade 11. I am 16 years of age. I'm from Canada, of Lebanese origin.
MashaAllah. Well, starting for the topic, I would like to just, go back and relate to what is ethics and why we took it as the first subject for this program. And the reason being, ethics is, understood differently in different aspects all over the world. And we as Muslims base our foundations of ethics on Quran and Sunnah. And I would like you to, discuss further, and by giving us some examples of what do you think moral foundations of a Muslim should be and how we can achieve them.
First of all, really, I praise and like the way that you started, because you began with ethos or ethics. Because lots of people, when they talk about leadership, usually they ignore this aspect. We Muslims know that leadership without ethics, it means nothing. Because it's not important to be how to be leader and to lead an organization and to lead a country without ethos, without ethics. We've seen some examples in history, even in the new history, even the recent history, even currently now. We see some of the leaders, after a few years, we discover that he or she has no ethics at all. And everybody starts disrespecting them. And this is something very important in Islam, as we know that regarding our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a model of ethics. He was a group of manners, good manners, represented in one person, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
And if you really look at the world, and you see different types of ethics, and sometimes you wonder, where do they take these moral values that they call ethics, and really are they applying that? Because a lot of business companies all over the world, they aspire to have strong ethics and foundations, moral foundations in their organizations, but sometimes you feel like, really, what is it really based on? Where did they acquire? So for Muslims it becomes very easy, because we acquire our moral ethics and foundation from the Quran and Sunnah. So what do you think, Abdul Mateen? What aspect of ethics that you think that as a young Muslim what do you aspire to be? What do you understand of ethics?
I think ethics, in an Islamic sense, is based upon the manners and behavior of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, along with what Allah has commanded us in the Quran. In the present day, of course, that we have to apply those things in our daily lives, and I think that is something that, you know, we tend to overlook, and we tend to go with the flow of which will give us more benefit in the short term, rather than that would give us more benefit in the long term.
But how do you think that you can, you know, learning is it one thing. I think the first thing is to understand what is the moral obligations in Islam, what is ethics in Islam, what are the things that will make us practice those skills that, you know, fall under the guidelines of Islamic ethics.
Yes. If I may interrupt, first of all, we know that the Prophet ﷺ talked about this issue of ethics. And he said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I have been sent only to complete the ethics and to perfect the ethics for people so that they would see a real example in life so they can emulate it and follow it. Going back to the same topic, I would say that one big difference in the Islamic perspective to leadership than others, our perspective to this leadership is taken from divine. It's divine one.
True.
We don't invent new ethics. We don't experiment with ethics. So this works and this doesn't work. Rather, we take it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from the creator of all human beings.
The creator of human beings should be the one who should tell us
Absolutely.
how do we run ourselves the best way possible.
In other contexts, you find people are making their own ethics. And not only that, some organizations change these ethics, so they are experimenting. Yes, definitely there's good percentage of the ethics that they use is from, yes, their culture, their own culture. And perhaps some of them are taken from a religion. For example, to be truthful all the time, you keep your word, you fulfill your promises. These are very good ones, which has roots in Islam and in Christianity and almost in every religion. This is something good. But ours are purely divine. They are from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't experiment with them. And this makes a good foundation. And you were just saying something about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his name and reputation before he was known as a leader.
Yeah.
You were just mentioning them.
Yeah, true. To build a leader, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before he was given the nubuwah and the prophethood,
yes,
he was, before that itself, he was called the truthful.
Yeah, the Sadiq.
And the Sadiq and al-Amin.
Sadiq al-Amin.
And truthful, trustworthy as well.
And
Yes.
that's why you will see that he was given the opportunity to lead, arbitrate between the Quraysh when they had the problem
Yes.
of
With the
Hijra
Hijra Aswad, yes.
And the same thing when he said, you know, when he was on the mountain, I don't
On
know.
Mount Safa, yes.
You know that story, Omar? Like when he was on the mountain.
Yeah, when he was on Mount Safa, when he, at the beginning of his prophethood, when he said, if I tell you that an army is standing behind me in this mountain, would you believe me? And all of them said yes.
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 Because they knew he was a truthful and trustworthy person and he would never ever lie.
Absolutely.
And that's I think that's a very important quality of a leader.
And I think that's what we are trying to focus on. We're trying to focus that we understand what those moral ethics are, Islamic ethics, of course, Islamic ethos, and then we see that are we really applying it or are we just acquiring that knowledge and keeping it with ourselves? And this is why we need to look at what are those things. So can you, Omar, do you think of any other things that, you know, help us build that moral foundation in terms of Quran and Sunnah?
First of all, we need to have the correct interpretation or understanding of Islam,
Yes.
so we can apply
agree.
ethics correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So give me an example, like, you know, for example, Abdul Mateen said that we have to be truthful. The other one is amana, you know,
Trustworthiness.
I mean, you know, so what we see nowadays is sometimes we neglect this most important part.
Yeah, a lot of people are like first come, first serve. So I saw this first, even though it's yours, you left it somewhere else, so now it's mine. That's
Yeah.
a popular concept that is going among teenagers right now.
Yeah.
Yes, but don't you think that this is something Islamic? First come, first serve?
First, no, I forgot. I keep forgetting the the name for that. I found it and I get it.
Finders keepers.
Finders keepers, yeah.
Finders keepers.
Finders keepers, losers reapers.
So
exactly.
this is not as what you said right
Yeah.
now, which is first come, first serve. It is Islamic concept because when I come first, that means I have the right to take the issue or to be treated or to finish my work before the others because I came, let's say that half an hour earlier. So I shouldn't be treated as the one who came late.
True.
I mean,
yeah.
the concept of amana is like, somebody gives you and, something to keep, and then you just forget about it and you just say, oh, did you really give me these things?
Yeah,
And,
true. Famous Arab story about one person. He went to Hajj for 7 years and he had given a pot of olives to one of his neighbors to keep, and below the olives was gold. But the neighbor thought it was a pot of olives. So one day, when the person had still gone for Hajj, he took the olives, and when he was eating from the olives, he found the gold. So he took all the gold. And when this person came back from Hajj 7 years later, this guy just gave him a pot of olives back. And they went to the judge, and at the end he did have to pay it. But see, there's lack of trustworthiness that is present
In other words, that he cheated on him.
he cheated on
cheated
him.
on him.
And the issue of cheating, and because many of the organizations and companies and corporates nowadays, they cheat people well by just selecting some of the terms between them and their customers, and something hidden somewhere in the contract when you try to download something from the internet, and it has many conditions. Of course, nobody
Nobody's
reads
going to read them, exactly.
Of course, this is the problem. But at the same time, on the other hand, the people should not cheat on this because they know that this is not, I would say that, ethically correct.
True. Buy one, get one free. Terms and conditions apply.
These conditions, yes. So they should be very clear. So the simple person that they deal with would understand exactly what they have. And the Prophet ﷺ reached the level to the degree that not any person would be just a good-mannered person who does not ever cheat. But he said that a person who cheats is not from us. That means the quality of Islam
Very clear.
is taken out from a Muslim person who cheats. Whether you cheat Muslims or you cheat non-Muslims.
A lot
This
of
is
people,
one of-
they say that
misconception.
it's okay.
Yeah, this is
He's
a
a
big
kafir, it
misconception.
doesn't matter. I can cheat him.
They thought that. This is not Islamic at all. When you live in one country, you go by the law of the land as long as it does not violate your Islamic ethics.
True.
Yes. So we have to respect any land that we live in. Yes, we have to go by the law. And we have even to go beyond the law to show the people that Islam has more ethics than. And this was the reason for many people to be Muslims, by the way.
We'll be taking a short break and we'll be back soon.
Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God. Hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.
Welcome back to IT World, and we will carry on our topic today, effective communication. And Dr. Mamdouh, you were talking about...
Yes, the scholars say that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi
Sallallahu
wasallam,
Alaihi Wasallam.
he praised his manners. إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. So say that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala focused on the manners of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't focus on his aqeedah, he didn't focus on other things. Why? Because this is what other people see. This is something external that people can see by their own eyes. So he didn't talk about his aqeedah, because when I meet with you in the street, what you see from me is how I behave with you, how I interact with other people. And this way, this attracts people. They don't know what is in my heart, but they see my actions and my behaviors, and in this way, they are very much affected by that. And this is something very important for us to. People watch your behavior. They don't watch your beliefs. What comes out from us is our behavior, how we deal with people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, how we deal with children, how we deal with our teachers, with our parents. And I remember an example that shows the impact of the behavior. It was in Philadelphia, in some place called Villanova, a Christian woman took her 2 children and came to the Islamic center there. And she asked the leader of this Islamic center, she said that I want you to help my kids to be Muslims.
Subhanallah.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, she was not Muslim. And this raised question with him. Why don't you think in the same way before your kids? Why don't you think of it? First of all, he said, why do you want your kids to be Muslims? She said wonderful things. She said that I want them, when they grow up, they treat me as the Muslim children treat their parents.
Yes.
When I grow up and I become an old mother and I needed their help and their support, I hope that they would treat me well as the Muslim children.
Not just throw them in the old home, old age
Absolutely,
home.
absolutely. Yes. So because of the behavior of the Muslim children with their parents, she loved this very much to the degree that she wanted their kids to be this. In other words, actions speak louder than words.
True, yeah.
And the issue of manners, the issue of it's all about actions. It's not just words and speeches
It's
to be
just not
delivered.
knowing those things, but actually applying it.
As Shaykh, there's a lot of good ethics that are taught in Islam and that we follow. But I feel that a lot of times we don't do everything.
Yeah, because I want to say it's not a matter of acquiring knowledge.
We need to apply it.
And yeah, this is the key word. And that's why it moves from the level of knowledge to the level of skill. So in order to be skillful in doing this and applying this, it takes a long time. It requires coaching, and this perhaps the role of the parents to coach us to good manners as early as possible. So when we grow, it becomes part of our DNA.
And yes, we have to really understand that we have to start early. And that's why I want from you guys, what are the moral dilemmas that youth do you think at the moment are facing, and how we can discuss further so that we can help our viewers and others and even ourselves to make it better for our families, our people. Abdul Mateen, what do you think?
I think that, as I mentioned before, many people, they know but they don't practice, either because I think they're shy of Islam for some reason.
Is it the peer pressure? Is it
I very much feel it's going to be peer pressure because, for example, for any etiquette, all right, just because you're Muslim, the other people don't do it. So you're like, they do it. Why do I have to do it? And you feel very, unique in a good way. But then as peer pressure, it affects you. So you feel, I want to be in the crowd. I want to be part of the boys, the gang, the group, whatever. And I don't want to put myself out there.
So, Umar, what do you think? Are youth facing this sense of spiritual crisis where they might know the foundations of the ethics of Islam, but they might not be able to practice it the way it should be? And what are the gaps? What do you think?
Well, the gaps, I think, would be, first of all, they don't have a strong personality because they would be giving up to peer pressure. Secondly, like Abdul Mateen said, he would be questioning himself, being unique in a good way, but he's still giving in to peer pressure. That's why, because he does not have...
So how can we avoid it? How can we avoid...
Yeah, I think from the very beginning, that it's a co-responsibility. But I would say that the parents might not have done a good job. For example, they did not set the stage, right, for preparing their kids. Otherwise, from the very beginning, you find, we were talking about this in the bus now, in the car, and we were saying that everybody at home has his own iPhone and his own computer, and once we get home, we start being busy with these things, and there's no interaction at all.
Yeah, that's a common problem that we face in many homes. My own home, sometimes, for example.
So there is, I think the parent, or particularly the father and the mother, they did not set the stage right, and they didn't put the parameters from the very beginning. Now, yes, this is the kind for all of us are going to use our computers and our machines. But there is time for dinner, and we're going to stay after that together until the time of Salat, and then we'll do this and this. If the parents designs and organizes the day is in a good way, I think everybody's going to benefit. And there will be some time to coach our kids and to teach our kids how to acquire these things that we want to tell them. If we don't have the time, I mean, if we don't organize it, where is the context? Where is the area? Where is the time that we can teach our kids these things?
I've worked with a lot of youth, and I think one of the things they keep coming back is that, you know, parents do tell us things, but then they don't practice it themselves. So basically they are saying you have to do this, but they themselves go on.
They should practice what they teach.
But I think it's one of the things that the youth are coming back and saying, you know, that sometimes parents do tell us all the, you know, moral ethos of Islam, but then they, when it comes to practicing, some of them might not practice all the things. And I'm a parent myself, and you know, sometimes I do face that you're telling us no iPhones, but then maybe it's a work iPhone.
You yourself are using it. Exactly.
And then I'm just using it myself, looking at perhaps something that is from work, but the children will question. And you know, you have to be prepared. And it's not just about the iPhone, or it's not just about the computer. You might be doing some work on it, but it's actually, you know, putting the guidelines, like Dr. Mamdouh said, putting the parameters. There is time for this, there is time for work. You don't want to bring your work home so that it affects the upbringing of your children and your family time, where you can, you know, perhaps put those ethos into practice.
But this is also, I would go back to the issue of to feel the peer pressure.
Yes.
We learn from the history of Prophet Muhammad that he would have some time for himself. He would go away from the people and start reflecting and go to the mountain. This is where he got the revelation. So to be there almost in every Ramadan, he would go there and try to see the world from a better perspective. When you go up in a high mountain, you see that the people who have a lot of money, they go usually high in the
penthouses,
building. Yes, because they can see more than others. They can see the whole picture. And when you see the whole picture, you understand things that you don't see when you put yourself in a box. When you put yourself inside the box and being affected by the peer pressure, you will be affected. But in and out. In for some time when you definitely have to be with your breaks at school, sometimes in doing this, but you have to be out other times because you have to go to the library to do things by yourself. You have to do. So in and out, we have to train our kids how to do this from the beginning. So to give themselves some opportunity to think deeper in any issue.
Thank you. Jazakallah khair. I really want to thank you guys for being here. It was a pleasure having you here and discussing this valuable topic. And viewers, again, thank you for watching, and inshallah we'll see you again next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Through the window, realize all you see is for you and I. In your dreams, through the nights, every moment that passes by, look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger. Look to the heavens, hands spread wide, thanking Allah the Most High. There is no God but Allah.